only a few more days till Christmas, and there's only 1 or 2 items left to fix on my Christmas layout before Christmas comes. And the one I'm going to work on is this one right here. Today I'm going to be hopefully bringing back to life, or mostly back to life, the Sam the Semaphore operating accessory. As you can see, I moved it next to the station in between the baggage platform and the station with the crane, because last time I moved my electromagnetic crane, number 583, over to where Sam the Semaphore Man was located. And it fits better over there, so I moved the semaphore accessory right here. We can see that the semaphore mast is bent over. It's broken out of the base. So Sam is hiding inside there. Let's get underneath inside this and see if I can figure out what's going on. Well, this is not normally where I work on accessories. I will probably be taking this down to the workbench in a minute here to get this fully cleaned up and restored here. But I do want to show you how to get inside. It's actually very simple. There's no screws. I'm using this small screwdriver, and I can pop it in the hole that's on the base. And very simply, pry it out gently, side to side, and the entire base simply slides off. Okay, so right away I see there's some parts missing, broken off. So this is the solenoid that activates Sam. So it's popped out here. And this spring is supposed to be for the semaphore mast. You might be able to see that better once I take it downstairs. This slide mechanism slides Sam in and out, but it appears to be seized up. And then this piece here that angles up is supposed to slide over this little hole, which you can see here, and that is what pushes up the rod inside the semaphore mast to make it go red or green. Well, I'm down here on the workbench, and I have Sam the Semaphore Man completely disassembled, and I'm in the process of cleaning up. I took the hut off of the base. It was easy to do because there's 4 little tabs, and they bend out simply, and the hut removed. So I was able to clean out the huge pile of dust bunnies that had piled up inside there. And then I was able to wipe off the rest of the grime that was on top. And I have some blocks set up so I don't crush his head. I want to be careful to preserve the figure on there. Looking underneath Sam the Semaphore Man's base, we can see we have a solenoid and a spring return on the solenoid. And then I have the wiring disconnected so that I cleaned up everything under here. I'm going to grease this track so that Sam slides back and forth easily. Now, if you watch other American Flyer YouTube channels, namely Austin's American Flyer, he just recently, in fact, 2 days before I filmed this video, it'll be about a week once it's live, he just released a video on his Sam the Semaphore Man that he repaired. His is a little different. His actually uses a 2-position solenoid so that it pulls it forward and it stays there until the button is pressed to release it and go back. This one does not operate that way. This is a single position solenoid with a spring return. So when the button is pressed or when the track trip is triggered, it pulls the solenoid in until the train passes or the button is released. So what I'm going to do now is finish and I'm going to reassemble this. The shaft for the pole that holds the semaphore, the base of it is broken off, and you can see where this is a little bit of a brass ring. It was peened in the hole at one point, but it's sheared off. So what I'm going to try to do is polish that up. I think it's brass, and I should be able to solder that. So I'm going to try soldering it and get that to hold it up. Hopefully it won't tip over again. Well, pardon the furnace noise. It's cold in my basement. I greased the track where Sam slides back and forth, and I oiled the solenoid on the inside lightly so it won't get too hot or anything, but it will help the solenoid slide back and forth. And I can demonstrate now that Sam works a whole lot better. Yeah, it works pretty good. So now I just have to reassemble this, and then I'm going to work on putting the mast back on. Well, this Sam the Semaphore Man proved to be quite challenging, but now he's back together and operational, except for the light bulb, which is completely silvered and burnt out. So that's no surprise. I'll have to order a replacement for that. But now it fully operates. So I'll demonstrate, and then I'll finish putting it back together, and then we'll take it up to the layout. So with the combination of a little bit of grease, oil, and JB Weld, Sam is back together and operational. So I ended up using JB Weld at the base of this, the mast for the Semaphore, and that proved to work quite well at adhering the post firmly to the base. Now all that's left to do is reinstall Sam's hut and then put it back on the layout. Here's what it looks like underneath when it is finished. I redid some of the solder. I wire wheeled off some of the rust that was on various points under here, and then reattached the spring. This large portion of the Semaphore shaft broke off, so I resoldered that to the wire, and that worked perfectly. So now, when the mechanism is activated, this lever slides up and pushes the pole up to activate the Semaphore, at the same time sliding Sam out. Now I did clean up the base and re-greased it so it slides and operates very smoothly and quietly. So there's extra wires on this. One of them is for the light bulb, which is the yellow. So the wires that activate the solenoid are the yellow and red. And then we have the yellow wire also feeds the light bulb, and then the black is common, which is the ground for the entire thing. So ground goes to this point, which I resoldered, and is also ground for the light bulb. Green wire is if you wanted to set this up to activate and stop the train, so you can actually isolate a section of track, and then this will stop the train. Once the Semaphore is activated, this contact is tripped, and then the green wire is disconnected, so that would activate the stop the train. This is the earlier version. The later version, I believe, has a fan stock clip on the back instead of a green wire. And also the later version has a lockout eliminator so that it will continue going forward and the train won't go in reverse. Well, I have some sad news. I believe that the coil underneath the base of this that operates the solenoid is toasted. It was operating just fine, and then I had a slight problem with the door on the hut where it would jam. It would sit down too low and it would get stuck. I put a washer underneath. Now the door operates correctly. However, I think it was just a little too much for Sam's tired old coil that is well worn out. And now, instead of popping out snappy like, the coil barely moves and gets very, very hot. So I'm thinking that coil is just completely shot. I'll give it some time to rest and maybe test it upstairs, but unfortunately Sam's going to be a static display. At least, though, he's put back together and his Semaphore is standing up straight. Well, we'll take it upstairs and see what we can do. Well, as you can see, Sam the Semaphore Man is not doing anything. You can't win them all, and this time I wasn't able to fully restore Sam. I did get it put back together all the way, but now, as we know, the coil is toast, and Sam barely comes out, and definitely doesn't have enough force to operate the Semaphore mast. Despite Sam not working fully, I did hook up the last couple accessories. Bill the baggage smasher here works and works pretty good. Now I still don't have any car to go with it yet because it's not put together. That'll be later. And I don't have any cubes of baggage to put on it. But the mechanism works pretty good. And also over here I hooked up a track trip so I can operate some working cars. Let's see how that works.